Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Desiree, and in today's video I'm gonna talk you through my positive birth story. I have my little baby here with me, so if you hear some noise in the background, it's her trying to communicate with me. Most people think that birth is all screaming and chaos, but what if I told you that 99% of my birth story was actually pleasurable and empowering and everything that I had dreamed of? Let me take you through my positive birth story, the calm bubble, the movie-like twist, and the magical moment that I finally got to meet my baby girl. I was 42 weeks and 3 days pregnant when I gave birth, but here's the crazy part. I had this deep feeling that she'd be born on the 8th. The number just kept coming up for me, and sure enough, she was born on August 8th at 8:44 p.m. But to tell the story properly, let's rewind to the day before. This was my first time becoming a mommy, and I was beyond ready. On August 7th, I was at the hospital for a blood pressure check, and then it happened. My water broke. Now, movies make it seem like labor always starts this way, but in reality, only 10% of women go into labor with their water breaking first. And guess what? I was part of that 10%. I was with my sister at the time, and we honestly didn't know if it really was my water breaking. So we kind of just looked at each other and laughed at how clueless we really were. Isn't it wild how little we actually learn about the things that matter most in life? After a quick test, the doctor confirmed it. Yes, it really was my water that had broken. It was evening by then, and contractions hadn't started yet, so I headed home, and I was very excited and very ready for the next chapter. And that very night at around 11 p.m, the contractions, the waves, they finally started. And I remember timing each wave, whispering to myself, "This is it. I will be meeting my little girl soon." By morning, my midwife and sister arrived and my dream birth began to unfold. I'd always dreamed of giving birth in a birthing tub at home, and that's exactly where I spent 99% of my labor. The water, the movements, the calm that I felt, it was really everything that I had envisioned. And I was really able to stay calm and in my bubble, swaying, changing positions, breathing through each wave. I was so at ease that my midwife later told me that she couldn't even tell when I was having contractions. And she said that she'd actually rarely seen anything like it in her many years of practice. That felt like such a compliment to me, so I really took that in. At one point, I even said to my birthing team, "I am actually having fun." Yeah, we were having fun. By 10:30 in the morning, I was fully dilated, which I actually asked my midwife not to tell me at the time, so she only later confirmed. But I did know intuitively. My labor so far had been fun and easy, and baby girl was so far down that her head was already visible. I had taken on every possible posture imaginable. I had been in the tub, on the birthing chair, even sitting on the toilet, which surprisingly was one of the most comfortable places to be during my waves. The only thing that was missing was my natural urge to push, so I really had to rely on pure strength. So here's where the story takes a crazy turn. Despite everything going beautifully, I did need some extra help for that final 1%, so off to the hospital we went. But you know what? I hadn't actually packed the hospital bag because I was so set on not giving birth in a hospital but doing it at home. So in a frenzy, my sister and my postpartum doula threw one together and we hit the road. Now, the closest hospital was only a 5-minute drive away, but I had specifically chosen a hospital 45 minutes away because they were much more open to honoring my birth plan. So there we were, me in one car with my midwife, and Mo and my sister in another, when suddenly we hit a massive traffic jam. Yes, can you imagine that? Contractions on the road in the car with a traffic jam and me thinking, seriously, universe, what is happening right now? And then, as if straight out of a movie, a police car appeared. My midwife waved him down and asked him for help, and the officer was so kind, he switched on his sirens and personally escorted us through not one, but actually 2 traffic jams. Sirens blaring, weaving through traffic. We were going so fast. It was surreal. It truly felt like a cinematic scene leading up to the finale. And finally, we made it to the hospital. At the hospital, my midwife still made sure that all of my wishes were respected. And even though I ended up not having the 100% at-home birth that I dreamed of, I still had a very positive experience. At 8:44 p.m., our baby girl, little Kaya, entered the world. I was in pure bliss. I was smiling uncontrollably. My heart was overflowing with love. At this point, I had lost quite a bit of blood and my placenta wasn't detaching. I'd actually hoped to do a half lotus birth where the umbilical cord would only be cut after the placenta was born. But since the placenta wasn't detaching, I had to change my plans because, of course, safety comes first. We waited as long as possible, and at that point, Mo was able to cut the cord, which was something that we really wanted, and it's definitely a moment that I'll treasure forever. And shortly after, I was taken to the OR so that the placenta could be manually removed. And this is one of those occasions where I'm totally at peace with it because I know that the universe always has my back and I had to be there for some reason. I had to be at the hospital for some reason, which most likely was the losing of all the blood and the placenta not detaching. So I do always believe that whatever happens, it's the universe's way of protecting you. So everything went smoothly and we ended up staying 2 nights in the hospital. And honestly, it felt like a sweet little family vacation. It was just us, cocooned in love and bonding with our newborn baby. So looking back, 99% of my birth was everything that I dreamed of. But that final 1% was unexpected. But it definitely taught me something important. And that is that birth does not need to be perfect in order to be positive. So to all the moms out there watching this, whether you've given birth before or you're preparing to give birth for the first time, you are amazing. Birth is powerful, it is transformative, and it is truly magical. So here's to all the mamas and the mamas to be. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will continue to follow along with our journey. There is so much more to come and I hope to see you in a next video. Ciao!